Hey, Bessie Brains, Kirby here, aka Darkwing Disc, and I am alongside Ollie DePina and Vanessa Steffny for this episode, for episode 14 of the KO Disc Golf Show. This is episode 14, the Kakuna episode. Famous players to wear the number 14 are Pete Rose, the all-time hits leader in MLB, yet is still not in the Hall of Fame. Jim Rice, all-time Red Sox great. Paul Konerko, all-time White Sox great. And Oscar Robertson, who Ollie said was the first player to ever have a triple-double.
Yeah,
Pretty
the
impressive.
original Mr. Triple Double, the Big O. And then also number 14 on the F1 grid is Fernando Alonso, two-time world champion. Gotta shout him out.
I'm going to have to sport my German roots and support some soccer guys. And so I've got Jamal Musiala, who national German team in 2022 was the number 14, now is number 10. And then, of course, Chad Marshall, Seattle Sounders, one of the best defenders in MLS, man.
Hell yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you to the sponsor of this episode. It's going to be Emerald City Discs. Vanessa is a fellow ECD teammate of mine. Really happy to have her on the team this year. Yeah, thank you to ECD, and thank you to everybody that's coming to ECD and, checked out our little shop.
Mm-hmm.
Getting right into the episode, we want to introduce Vanessa a little bit. Vanessa, thank you so much for joining us. Just a couple of questions to kind of get to know you a little bit. My first question for you is, why are you like this?
I was waiting.
And my second question is, who do you think you are?
Oh,
and
Jesus.
My third would be, what gives you the right? So.
I mean, I feel like at least two of them are kind of personal. So. I don't know why I'm like this. People have asked me all along, but I just kind of have to own it because I think I'm kind of a fun version of myself. I don't know why I have the right to be this way, so I don't know that, Kirby, but we might have to duel it out.
Fair. All right, so more legitimately, my background with you, I just have seen you around South Fork,
Mm-hmm.
kind of before I met you, and I just noticed there was this female player out there who was just throwing the shit out of the disc. And you signed up for one of our tournaments and you came over, and I remember telling Brian, being like, hey man, I've seen her around, she throws really, really far. And you were like, hi, what's up? And I was like, hey, I do lessons and stuff. Do you want to link up or something? Because I see you doing all this stuff. And you were like, oh my God, yes. I've been looking for people to kind of connect with and that kind of thing. So immediately I was really happy that you were, it seemed like you were kind of looking for, a little bit of community in disc golf. And I don't know, do you want to kind of talk a little bit about that or kind of elaborate on that a little bit?
I know I actually often think about that time. It was such a surreal, because that was my first tournament that I ever played.
Yeah, which tournament was that?
That was last year, the Laurel Palmer one, the first.
The alternate layout. Yeah,
the first alternate layout at South Fork.
Ooh,
I know.
Oh, yeah.
That tournament had a weird origin story with this whole podcast. So,
I mean, we just had, what was it, the recent one
contest.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was that's right.
Yeah, that first tournament of yours was my first win too. So.
Yeah. Oh, was it really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I made 3. It was awesome.
Yeah,
win.
I think I did FA2. I think I enrolled because I was looking online the PDGA, and I was just I don't know, I can throw far. And so that was,
which is, at that point you were playing FA2.
I was playing FA2, and I remember that. So a couple of things that stand out to me in that tournament so vividly was A, just how fucking terrified I was because it was a big deal. B, hitting the middle pole of a putting basket and the putter actually coming back out again. And that had never happened to me before because I guess context, I first started playing disc golf in I think we started 2020, 2021 or something like that. So it's not been that long. And that was the first time ever that a putter had just hit the middle pole and jump back out again. And I remember just standing there and looking at the guys on my card being like, wait, that can fucking happen? Did you even realize that? And that still flashes through my mind sometimes. It actually just happened to Jen Rice, a couple of tournaments ago. I think it was at the FPO Open that happened to her, and we were all like, what the? So that was one of the things. And then the third thing that stands out to me is winning the FA2 one and coming up, and I was getting my script, and I remember you were checking me out because I was buying some disc or whatever, Kirby, and you were like, yeah. I don't know what you're doing, but somehow you started talking. And I think you had said something like, not to be weird, but I'm pretty sure I've seen you throw out here at Southport before. Do you come out here often or something like that? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, I've watched you throw, and you fucking huck. And he's like, but I have. You said something like, I didn't want to just like randomly come up to you out of nowhere and just start talking to you, like because I was going by myself a lot as a lady, and so you're being really
Yeah.
respectful of that, which now is shocking, but you were actually at the time.
you know, this is all right. So anyway, yeah, you won FA2 in the Laura Palmer. You, oh, where was it? FA2. Yeah, you played by yourself. You shot 21 over par. And you averaged, you had a 772 first round and an 823 second round.
Mm-hmm.
So a year ago, that's what you were doing, and to see your growth in that year has been like pretty impressive. We've all know, like I knew, like from that time, like we did a lesson,
Mm-hmm.
and like I kind of like to use the lesson that I did with you as an example of some people that I work with, where I don't necessarily have to. I didn't work with you on form so much, and it wasn't about teaching you how to throw the disc. It was more about teaching you like what the disc is capable of doing.
Yeah.
Because you were already such a naturally good thrower, it was you just didn't have experience.
Mm-hmm.
So you needed to see like this is what a backhand flex shot looks like. This is what a roller style looks like. This is what an understable disc on like more of an Anheuser kind of like let that like move the entire time from left to right kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like I remember doing that lesson with you and being like, man, she's good, and like she doesn't realize like how good she is yet. And that was kind of the initial like, yeah, we're gonna put you on the box squad and kind of let you kind of figure out who you want to be in disc golf and like that kind of thing. Yeah. And I kind of told you at like last year too. I was like, hey, like next year you will be an FPO, and you're like, no, I'm not there. And now you're definitely an FPO and like killing it in FPO. So
yeah. I know sometimes it kind of feels surreal because it did go so fast, and I play with a lot of ladies who've been playing for a very long time, and it feels kind of weird sometimes being like, I only first started playing competitively last year, and still being able to hold my own in a really good field.
Yeah.
So
and you definitely are holding your own. You've been doing awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So
Thanks, man.
I know you have your own private practice. Do you want to talk a little bit about that before we get into kind of how Ollie's week was and Kayak Open and all that?
Yeah. Gosh, I mean, there's so much to say. I think it's like how it kind of applies, I think, is actually a little bit with the disc golf story, because I remember, so I graduated from best year with a dual master's, one in nutrition, one in counseling psych. And so my private practice is really much surrounded supporting people on the outpatient level, like mental health issues, including a lot of focus on like eating disorder, relationship to food, body, movement. And building a private practice, as I think anybody in business knows, is always a little bit terrifying in the beginning. And I remember just starting it, and you're trying to just get your practice out there, your name out there. And there were a lot of lulls in my schedule. And coming from, working, getting my dual master's complete and everything, like I filled my schedule with a lot of work stuff. And so all of a sudden I had so much time that opened up. And it was also, I used to work in the climbing industry, and I had broken my ankle. And so I had been out of movement or some kind of sports for a while after that. And then masters, I mean, there wasn't really much time. And so I don't remember how, but somehow COVID had started. And some friends of ours had said, you guys should come out, we should play disc golf. And I had seen it on YouTube once before. I was like, that sounds kind of cool, and we had just like grabbed some like Amazon starter pack and just kind of started playing. And I don't know, I remember coming out and just throwing these like massive hyzer shots where they would like spike into the ground, right? And the disc would just like stick in the ground.
Yeah.
Tombstone.
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. But there was something about it that I just loved. Like, it was just so fun. I've always been an outdoor person. Always loved sports. I played soccer back in Germany, then kind of got big into climbing when I moved to the US. And then
your dad was a professional athlete,
yeah, he was
right?
a professional athlete too. He was.
What did he play?
He was a marathon runner. So he was 13-time German champion. He went to the Olympics and European champion, all sorts of stuff. Like and to this day, I mean, that's still how he makes his living, is a lot of teaching people about marathon running and kind of
That's
stuff
cool.
like that. Yeah.
Love that.
So, I mean, sports has always been a huge part of my life in one way or another, whether it's kind of by proxy, you know, having a dad who you'd be walking down some, I don't know, train station in Germany or in some other European country, and some person comes up to him and is like, "How about Steffny? Is it you?" And I remember as a kid always just being so proud, you know, it's like, that's my dad.
Oh,
And
that's so cool.
I love, I've always loved sports though. And so kind of finding disc golf, I think it gave me something to do while I was growing my practice. I think it also gave me something to do where it's like, you know, as a therapist, I really believe also putting your money where your mouth's at, not just talking the talk, but also walking the walk. And I can be my own worst critic in many ways when it comes to kind of competitive sports and wanting to do well in sports. And so I think disc golf has really been a great way for me to also just grow as a therapist, as a person, as an athlete, because it really challenges, I think, like all sorts of different parts of kind of athleticism. And so, long story short, practice started growing. I do that full time now. And I get to play an awesome sport professionally on the side still. So I
That's
can't
so
really
sweet.
complain.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, honestly, that's enough about you. Ollie, how's your week
You guys said you were
Man,
going to
it's pretty.
interrupt, so I figured y'all would open your mouth at
Yeah.
some point, but
But hey, you have some time. All right, chill. Ollie, how you doing, bud?
I'm
How are
not
you,
gonna
man?
lie. You started talking about the like Olympics, and my brain started getting hyped for Paris.
hell yeah.
But I'm good. I like this week has been chill. I had like a good work week, and then this weekend I got a little sick and decided not to leave my bed. I was having like yeah, just I haven't gotten sick in a while, so just really didn't do anything. So kind of felt nice to give myself like a weekend break from throwing completely, like no putting, no anything, and so hoping to come fresh for kayak because I know there's going to be a lot of like long distance shots there. But feeling really
Yeah.
good now and feeling fine now. Feel like I did the right necessary things and like resting and stuff. Hydrated well. Um,
Good.
but yeah, not too eventful of a week. Besides that,
Good to hear. Yeah, we'll get right into our Kayak Open preview. And Ollie and I are talk a little bit about our impressions of blues and how I'm not a big fan. And Ollie actually is like a pretty big
I
fan.
love blues. I love blues. I think it's my favorite course at kayak, but and like that's by like a lot. I think even though I do like gold a lot and I do like reds, but I think blues is just like the wooded aspect. You get there's certain lines I feel like that are really rewarding. I feel like there's a lot of like big forehand shots, like a lot of like, and so I enjoy it personally a lot. I'm a big fan of wooded courses. Yeah, some of the lines might be seen as like too long or too, I don't know, for a wooded course, but I think it just creates. I think it's well parred. I don't have that many complaints with it, honestly. Like that's my opinion
Yeah,
on it.
I definitely think there are a few holes that even when we played on 4th of July, because Ollie and I went out on 4th of July early, and we played a very long, hot round out there. I will say that for sure. Um, there are a few holes, and Ollie and I talked about this in the process. We kind of like talked like hole to hole kind of thing, and we played with Alex Logston as well. And we talked. I was like, "Hey, this hole is a really good hole." And there was a few holes that I said I was like, "This hole is sick. Like this hole makes a lot of sense. I like this hole as well." But there was a bunch of holes that I just simply was not a big fan of. A lot of fairways that I don't actually feel were actual fairways. It's not really a fairway if you're walking down it and knee high to shin high. There is ferns, there's stinging nettles, there is like brush, holly, bramble, blackberries.
Fun.
Like if that's what you're walking down, then it kind of tells me that the course isn't fully ready. And that's really tough. I don't know when the course, what they have to do necessarily to make the course ready, but going through that stuff, it will be. I saw Jason Koch make a post in the kayak like disc golf scene page, and he said the course is almost unplayable, and I think that's a pretty accurate description. Almost unplayable. It's not unplayable because you can definitely get out there. You can definitely make it through the full 18, but there are some holes where it's like, hey man, like I think because of how long, even though blues is in the woods, that round is going to take so long that this weekend is going to be more of a test of endurance than it necessarily is about like your overall disc golf skills. Because between your gold rounds, which are going to be 4 to 5 hours. I think the blue round is a guaranteed 5+ hour round. And then you go back to golds, which you're looking at 4 to 5 hours. Throughout the weekend, you're looking at like 16, maybe 20 hours of disc golf throughout the whole weekend. It's a lot of time over 3 days. I think the person who hydrates right, I think the person whose legs have the right kind of endurance and are prepped for that kind of thing, I think that's the person that's going to do really well going throughout the tournament, because there's going to be those late holes on blue and then those late holes on round 3 of golds where you have to kind of give it your all. Like walking up that hill on 17 on Sunday is going to be one of the tougher things that a lot of our legs are going to have to endure. I'm 34. I'm not looking forward to that.
Oh, 17 golds.
What's that?
17 golds.
17 golds. Yeah. Walking up that hill on Sunday is going to be tough, man.
I don't know, man. I think saying that the course is almost unplayable is a little over I think that's a little bit too much in my opinion. And I just will say this so I can speak my piece and leave it at that. I think that I understand like the defined fairways, and there's certain holes like that where the fairways weren't super defined, and I'm thinking of one of these holes in particular where like there are a lot of ferns like on the fairway where it can be hard, but I still just think it's very playable. Nettles are pretty bad, I will say that, but a lot of them are on the sides of the fairways, so maybe I just gotta say get good, stay in the middle.
Yeah. Saturday is a day that no matter how hot it is, you have to wear pants.
Oh, like, no, I'll be wearing shorts again. I wore shorts during our practice round. I'll be wearing shorts again.
And you're gonna regret it, like our practice round when we had like big lumps from the singing nettles, for sure.
I was about to say. The only thing that I keep hearing is like maybe Ollie's been staying in the middle more. I don't know, or if it's just you.
Wow. I'm like, come on.
I will say it's not that the course is so hard that like it's unbirdieable, because like when Ollie and I were playing, we were throwing like 2 or 3 shots, and there were several times that both of us were like looking at birdies or birdie opportunities.
I think on my round it was like half of the holes were birdieable from like 2 to 3 drives per hole.
Yeah, I've never played
possibly, kind of thing. If you're on, it's not that it's unscorable, but it's like when I think when you're looking at a tournament of this size and you're looking at having like over 100 or however, I don't know, was it like 60 something players like running through that course, and you're gonna have so many people that are gonna hitting early trees and trying to throw hero shots and hitting second and third trees. I think we're looking at a very, very long round, and I think so much of that stuff is like still so overgrown in certain areas that I think holding players to that 3-minute rule is going to be tough, because you're going to have to be like, hey, like you got to be really aggressive with all players are here, like start that timer kind of thing. And I don't know that a lot of players are really willing to do that. So now all of a sudden a hole that should take you 12 to 15 minutes to play is going to take people 25, 30 minutes to play, because they're taking so much time to look for people's discs before they even start a timer.
Yeah, I feel that. That's real. Oh, so sorry to interrupt. Yeah.
Well, I was more just curious, like on MPO and stuff like that. Are you guys pretty good about doing those timers?
No,
because
I don't have MPO experience at all. So I have one tournament and it was in Canada. So
yeah,
I'm cool about being like, hey, like we've looked for like a solid minute of like kind of looking around. It's kind of getting to that point where it's like, hey, this is hitting away. I will be the person to be like, okay, hey, like we should probably set a timer in a second, and I'll pull up a 3-minute timer, and I'll kind of be really slow to pull the trigger on starting it. And then as soon as I say like, hey, like I'm gonna start a timer, guys, I'll start a timer, and then all of a sudden it's like everybody, I feel like I get into like go mode, all of a sudden, like I'm moving a little faster, because I want the same respect that like, hey, if I'm looking for a disc or you're looking for one of my discs,
totally,
and we start a timer, I want everybody to like get their shit together and start looking, like dawdling around kind of thing, like get on it,
Yeah.
So I try to give everybody like the same respect that I would expect to get, but at the same time, like there's only so much you can do, like if this disc is like lost, and like there's some parts of like, like gold, like hole like 6. If somebody like hooks a drive out to the right on hole 6 instead of going down the hill the right way, it could potentially be gone. And like that, how long do you guys want to spend on looking for a disc that like at the end nobody's really gonna find, or if you do find, like it's been so long, at that point you should be penalized because that was such a bad throw. So like there hits a certain point where that's kind of like realization. I feel like I personally am kind of quick to be like, hey, we should probably set a timer. And if somebody is like, hey, we should set a timer for one of my discs, I'm like, is everybody here looking? You know, because there are certain rules where if you have one person who is 100 feet away from the other 3 people in the group,
It's
you
not
can't set a
started.
timer.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
gotta
because
start it,
not
and everybody
everybody's there
can.
looking, so that's not fair yet. So I know, and
In the
no, go ahead.
last tournament, actually, the Ladies of the Lake one was the first time that somebody actually enforced that rule on our card. One of my disc on 5, you know, the one that's like coming down towards the hill, where you kind of have to do this, like, because I'm obviously backhand dominant, so kind of like a flex shot, right? Have it turn and
turnover,
exactly.
yeah.
And it hyzered out too soon, went into the bushes somewhere we could not find it. And Christine Hustis actually said, she's like, okay, I'm going to set a timer. And that was the first time that somebody had done that on a card. But you know, I was penalized for it because we couldn't find it within the 3 minutes, so I had to re-tee. I saved the bogey because I had a really nice shot, and so I was okay with that. It was kind of like and I got the disc back, which is like honestly more important. But I kind of respected it because I honestly think like one of the things that annoys me a ton is when I'm playing on slow cards or behind slow cards. And so I really respect that she just kind of called it and was like, hey, we need to set the 3-minute timer. And I thought it was a fair way of going about it. And I thought it set a good tone of just taking it seriously, you know?
No, 100%.
I feel that.
And I try to like hedge my bet a little bit where I know like if I have a disc that's like hole 6 on kayak is just kind of in my mind right now is like a really easy.
Is there a story, Kirby?
Right? Yeah.
Last year we practiced, and I remember that's the first time I think I got.
Throw it. Yeah.
Last year was the first time I got stung by nettles, and I was practicing golds with Kirby, and it was us looking for a disc over there to the right. And I was like, oh wow, this is what nettles feel like.
You guys and
nettles.
nettles.
Nettles are the worst. But yeah, so like in my mind, like let's say like I'm the first one to tee off and I throw my disc out onto the right and I know like I'm in the shit over there. I'm gonna wait for my other 3 card mates to go, and as soon as that 4th person releases that disc, I am off of that tee and I'm booking it down there. It's because I want to give myself personally the most amount of time for me to look around, right? Excuse me, and then I'll let my card mates catch up to me. And if there's somebody who has a shorter drive than me and they want to throw while I quietly like look through the bushes and I'm still looking at my disc, amazing. I'm just giving myself the best opportunity to look for it. That timer doesn't start until all 4 of your card mates or all 3 of your card mates are there and all 4 people are there looking for the disc. Kind of thing. So
I think it's good.
I'm a big fan of that. I'm a big fan of playing like that's like the rules to a T. So yeah, when it comes to those 3-minute timers, MPO I would say are not super quick about pulling it, but me personally, I don't mind. You know, it's one of those things that just kind of needs to happen.
I mean, I kind of feel like it's in the rules for a reason, right? And I mean, time and place.
It's so round hours.
Yeah, but I mean, if everybody just kind of has the same standard, it's like you can't get pissy at each other because it's just like that's the rules, you know? Like, and we're kind of doing it for everybody because you don't want to be stuck behind somebody who's taking forever looking for their fucking disc.
Yeah,
totally agreed.
There will be. I know they've been doing a really good job at Kayak trying to get spotters out there on the blue course for every single one of those blind holes. So hopefully some of those kicks out will be like figured out and stuff. But I know a couple people already volunteering to do it for at least a few hours and to get like a day pass, a disc, and some other stuff, which seems pretty sweet. Nice. But hopefully it works out and is smooth.
Yeah, always appreciate the spotters. I always, you know, everybody who's, if you play a tournament and you see a spotter, make it a point to go up and say thank you.
Oh yeah.
And you know, Ollie, you know this, Vanessa, you've caddied for me too. Like, you know this as well. Like, I keep minis and I keep stickers in my bag. So when I meet a spotter who's real cool, you know, or a spotter who's just like kind of knows like having a tough day or something, like I'll give them a sticker or I'll give them a mini and just say like, hey man, I appreciate you being out here. Like, thank you so much. And like, I think that's something that I would love to see more, you know, not only professional players, but just like any level of player. Like, if you have a sponsor and they send you stickers, give those stickers away to people. You know, everybody appreciates that kind of like little thing, and it's a nice gesture.
Totally.
So, so we're gonna move right along and get into the Ladies of the Lake recap. That's one of the big reasons why we brought Vanessa onto the show, is because she participated in the Ladies of the Lake. Vanessa, in particular, came in second in FPO. And Vanessa, we'd love to hear a lot of your thoughts and, you know, kind of just like a recap of the tournament in general.
Totally. I mean, first and foremost, I'm going to say that the Evergreens Women's Series does so much for local ladies, as well as like, I mean, this last tournament, we also had 2 people, or a couple, not actually more than that. I know in FPO, there was one person who came from Oregon, Ashley Calvert, and then Lindsay Fish, who is from Wisconsin originally. She's, I guess, she also tours as an FPO.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of cool to also be able to step up against somebody who, you know, has experience in like a lot of big tournaments, right? And then Ashley Calvert, like I said, was from Oregon. She played really well too. She ended up shooting the hot round actually overall in the tournament, neg 9, which was pretty stellar. I didn't actually play with her. I just met her afterwards because our cards never aligned. But you guys kept talking about something earlier where you were saying hydrate well, and I kept having flashbacks to this weekend because it was so hot.
Yeah.
And I think that was like the biggest thing that most of us were just talking about because Saturday was 2 rounds. One that started at 9, ended around 12, and then we started again at 2 for the second round. And so we were just in the freaking heat the entire time. And that was exhausting after some time. We played it over at Lakewood, and so it's pretty exposed on most spots. Second round or third round then was on Sunday and pretty hot too, but I think most of us at that point were just like, let's just get through it and be done.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the thing that I always love most is seeing so many ladies show up to these like women's series ones where, you know, from all sorts of different divisions, you have so many ladies that are there crushing it and having fun, supporting each other, kind of teaching each other. You have people coming up, high-fiving you and saying, hey, you shot a nice round or whatever. So I think the support's like really there, and just a lot of people wanting to foster that for so many other people. We shot, so it was kind of like the shorter layout. I would say most of them could have been birdied in one way or another for FPO, or for most of us FPO players. I think there's only a couple that stand out to me that if you do get a birdie, it's kind of like, holy shit, you threw a nice drive. But they were shorter, and so it was kind of fun, I think, to just go out and see mostly like, can you place it well, and then can you get a good putt in? And there were a lot of good putting that was going on, a lot of good drives.
I will say I probably heard, you know, I was at ECD the whole weekend, and several women, you know, came into the shop in between rounds, after the round, kind of talked a little bit about, you know, what was going on out there, and you know, just wanted to talk disc golf, which is always, you know, like super encouraged and excited to do, you know, chop it up at Emerald City Discs there. And the one thing that I probably heard more than anything else was there was a lot of rollaways. A lot of women had a lot of putts that would kind of hit baskets and kind of roll. My friend Kayla Ority, she was saying on hole, 17, like traditional or old hole 19 there.
The one with the tight OB.
Yeah, with the tight OB on the right. Back-to-back rounds, she had drives that were in bounds, but then her putt would like hit the cage and then bleed out of bounds. And that's such like that's something that can kind of happen with that nervy putt.
Absolutely.
Like having all that OB behind it's like very, very like, it's nervy. Absolutely. And it's cautious for sure. So,
well, I think that
it's probably the thing that I heard most of all was just rollaways. It's probably like my personal line from it.
But I think that that's kind of the thing, you know, too. One of the points is like a lot of the baskets are pretty exposed, you know, where you really have to kind of commit to either like I'm putting downhill and if I miss, it's going, or if I'm putting and it's kind of standing in the open, it might roll OB. Like there are so many, it's kind of like you can't really mess up in a sense. And so there is, I think, pressure on putts for sure. The other thing for somebody like myself who also at times will drive way too far, like you can find an OB on some of them if you don't, you know, kind of speed control, or if you at least are kind of, you know, pulling back when you need to. And so I think that's the other thing that I would say for more of us FPOs was more like making sure you're not out driving some of the fairways.
Those that don't know, Vanessa mashes, and she can outdrive you.
South Fork is my home course, so I get to let my range out on distance.
We played at White River? Was that round we played? Yeah, that was pretty fun. I got to see you throw pretty far there, which was awesome.
Yeah.
When you give Vanessa the opportunity, like, and she can open up on one, like it is so impressive. It's such like you're not only are you German, you know, and you're European, right? But you have like a very like Evelina Solomon kind of style game, where it's like when you watch you throw, like your form almost looks like you like imitated her style of throwing and all that. Like it's really impressive, and like it shows like how far you can throw, like when you throw like that, and then you see Evelina throw, and you're like, oh, it's like they're like the same person.
Disc sisters. You know what's actually funny? When she won her Elite Series one, I don't remember which one off the top of my head. I had like posted it onto my Instagram story, whatever, was just like, hey, congrats. And I had some people who like messaged me and were like, congratulations on this win. And I was like, yeah, that's not me. Like,
That's not me. It just look
Evelina.
my doppelganger.
Apparently.
Yeah,
I mean, hey, it's a
That's
compliment. So
that's that's amazing. I mean, not a bad comparison.
I mean, my mom is Danish, so that's the Scandinavian blonde hair, you know, stuff that's going on.
There you
so
go. Yeah. All right, we're gonna go through the winners real quick, and just kind of give everyone a little bit of a shout out. So FPO, the winner was Lindsay Fish, and Vanessa came in second. Ashley Calvert came in third. Jennifer Rice came in fourth. FP40 was Brandy Myers. FP60 was Janice Z. Jones.
Whoop, whoop.
FA1 was Lizzie Gibbon. FA40 was Joan Partridge, and my good friend Kayla came in fourth, so congratulations to her as well.
Nice job, Kayla.
Also, congratulations to I've met a lot of these women now because I've caddied for Kayla. So Jennifer Awesome Krispinski, she has a podcast. I think intentional disc golfer. So definitely check that out with her and her husband. And Peck In, I don't know if you've had a chance to play with her. She's incredible. She has this like, I think it's like one of those like super soft like koi putters, and she's like so sneaky good with it. It was incredible to watch.
I've not played with her yet. I've met her though.
I'm sure you will at some point. FA50, the winner was Britta Steele. FA60 was Allison Crane. FA2 was Sarah Kaldstad. FA3 was Bex Warich. Congratulations to Bex. We are a big fan of Bex on this show.
Oh yeah,
she is so sweet.
Emily and I are big fans of her, so congratulations to her.
Bex is awesome.
Excited to see her. Yeah, I'm excited to see her kind of moving up.
Jacking up the wins.
Yes, she is.
Yeah. Have you played with her?
I played with her. We one time I went out to South Fork and Jen and Bex were playing, and I got to join in with the two of them. She at one point wanted to take a slow-mo video of like my form, and it tripped me out so hard. She's so eager to learn. That's what I love about her. She just wants to know.
It's the passion.
Yeah, she has a ton of passion.
She's winning FA3 right now. I mean, what is it? A calendar year, maybe 2 years before she's playing FPO or whatever she wants to play at that point. You know, like good for her. FA4, the winner was Grace Lee, and the FJ10 was won by Maya Howard. So congratulations to all of them. Thank you to Daniel Keene and Chuck Mintz for running like a great tournament and being out there. I think Christian Wolf was out there as well. So, you know, thank you to all of them for running a great women's event. And Vanessa, do you have any other kind of notes or anything like that about it?
I just think, honestly, even as I'm kind of looking at it, just like reminding myself how many ladies like really came out and had some solid rounds. I mean, like Brandy Myers played consistently, just really good. She's good at those like accurate shots. You know, I've played with her many times, and Wooded Cortices, she's a beast. Because she has that experience, and she has those like good up shots, good consistent shots. The other person I'll also say, Lizzie Gibbon, she played really good FA1. She won that by a good amount. I think she shot neg 12 or neg 11, something like that, and Laura Gregg was neg 1 or whatever.
Neg 12 to neg 2.
And so I told her she should consider switching to FPO at some point too, and she kind of laughed. I don't know if she actually will or not, but she shot well, so I think that's fair to name.
Nice. Cool.
Real quick, I just want to shout out a tournament that went on in Washington in Stanwood. It was the Church Creek Open. It was put on by Brian Scott, who's works at Kayak, and he's going to be the assistant TD at Kayak Point Open.
Nice.
Zach Johns got the dub in MA2. Just had to shout that out. And then him and Tristan Keller, Brian Scott and Tristan Keller, they went to a 7-hole playoff for MA1, and Brian Scott pulled out. So I guess he ran a great event and then won the tournament too. So just had a quick shout out to the Church Creek Open.
Nice. Congratulations to Brian. Yeah, he's a good guy. I like running into him up at Kayak. I'm sure I'll see him a lot this weekend. He's usually running around, you know, taking care of business, putting out fires, you know, rocking that golf cart. So good on him. Yeah, good guy. Okay, so moving right along, we are going to do... all right, so I was in Canada, or Ollie and I were in Canada last week. Vanessa is from Europe, so I thought it would be fun. I have a few Canada, like United States hot takes, and I reached out to Vanessa, and Vanessa has a few like Europe to United States hot takes, and we're gonna throw them at Ollie and kind of see what Ollie has to say about the two of them. So I didn't grow up in Canada. I grew up in Niagara Falls, which I call Canada Light at times because we had
Life.
events. So when I go to Vancouver, BC, I really feel like more at home because there's so many things from like when I grew up that are just like around, like even like grocery stores, like candy bars and certain like snack foods that are at the grocery store that I don't see here in Seattle, but I remember seeing back home. So that's all something that I kind of feel. I feel very attached to Canada in a certain way. So my first hot take from Canada is that Celsius is better than Fahrenheit. It just makes more sense that 0 degrees is freezing and 100 is boil.
I agree.
I feel 50-50 on it. I don't know. Fahrenheit can be cool. I feel like I don't know. Like sometimes I feel like 73 degrees or sometimes I feel like 78 degrees. It's a little easier for me to do that.
Yeah, but you just have to learn.
At that point, you're just rocking like a mean 28, 29.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
right?
My counter to that would be I like meters instead of like feet or yards or whatever.
Okay.
I will absolutely agree in that one too.
Here's my one big thing about the Celsius to Fahrenheit system that I think is extremely dumb in Canada is that if you go to a Canadian home and you want to bake a cake and you look up a recipe in Canada, it will tell you to set your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, which is so freaking stupid. It's like you have the best system of Celsius. Like just rock it all the time.
That's what they do in Europe. They rock it all the time. Celsius.
I hate that. That's so bad. That's like the worst part of all.
That actually makes me kind of angry right now.
Yeah, just commit to it. Just commit. Celsius is so good. Like you're fine.
Celsius is great.
At first, I thought you were going with like the Celsius drink, and I was like, "What does this have to do with Canada?"
No. Also,
pure.
If you want to translate Celsius to Fahrenheit,
it's a stupid calculation.
You double it, and then you add 32, and it's really, really close all the time. So if you want to have Celsius and you want to figure out Fahrenheit does it work backwards? I don't know. I'm not that good at math. Vanessa, what do you got?
I was also thinking when there's like Kelvin and all sorts. Either way. In scientific measures, we also use Celsius for the most part. Just saying.
I don't know any Kelvin. Move on. Yeah.
we don't acknowledge that on the KO Disc Golf Show.
Okay, fine. Am I gonna go with a Europe fun fact? Is it my cue, or are we still on the Celsius debate?
Fact. She said it's not a hot take. She said it's a fact.
A hot take.
Yeah.
God, I'm like trying to think which one I want to come up with. I'm just gonna say it straight off the bat, and this is a fact. European chocolate is way better than American chocolate.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fair. I agree.
All right. I'm fine with that.
When I taught swim lessons, a lessons kid would come up to me and they'd always give you like candy and stuff or like a card, and one kid will always stay special in my heart because he'd come with like the European candy or like chocolates, and I was like, yeah, those are bomb.
German and Swiss chocolate is like the shit. And it's like that good milk chocolate. Like
I get down with that.
So good.
Okay. Yeah, no, I agree with that as well. All right, my next hot take is when you go to Canada and you're driving down the thruway, you will see the speed limit signs. But in Canada, it doesn't say speed limit. It says maximum speed, right? It says maximum like 60 kilometers, right? And I cannot tell you how much I agree with it saying maximum instead of
limit.
Speed limit. Here's the thing, and here's my biggest thing. As Americans, we are all about pushing the limit. So when you tell me that 60 is the limit, I'm like, all right, sweet, I'm about to go. Exactly. I'm about to push this limit because that's what I do. But the maximum, that's just the maximum. I mean, you don't go above the maximum because that's what you don't push. You don't push the maximum, you push the limit, right? So I am all about switching all of the signs in America from speed limit 60 miles an hour to maximum 60 miles an hour.
So you would drive the speed limit?
We would see these accidents.
I'm going to one-up you, Kirby, before Ollie can even answer, and just say,
okay,
Deutsche Autobahn, there's a minimum speed, no maximum.
Autobahn! Yeah,
I don't know.
if this is a one against the other, I'm taking time on life. I'm taking no risks. I'm going fast.
Da kann man so richtig heizen, is what they say in German.
Oh my
I'm
goodness.
just,
All
and
right, Vanessa.
that's actually going to tie off of that. The left-hand rule, okay? In Germany and in Europe, you only are in the left-hand lane when you have to be. It's a passing lane
Okay.
only, and a lot of it actually has to do with, for an example, the Autobahn. If you have
They try to
somebody,
do that here.
if you're in the left lane and somebody's coming up behind you and they're flashing you, it means get the fuck over because I'm coming up.
Yeah.
And it annoys the crap out of me here in Washington State, at least, or around Seattle. Actually, it's a little bit better over Eastern Washington, I find. But people hog the left-hand lane. And that's
I
a hot
agree.
topic for me.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with that. All right, my next hot topic. Tim Hortons. I fucking love
They're
Tim
so
Hortons.
good.
One of my favorite. We had that growing up. I went on a ton of like little like
What is
middle
Tim
school
Hortons?
dates. Tim Hortons
Wow.
is a little like donut and stand. Oh, I'm kind of pissed at you right now. Yeah.
Wait, do you actually not know?
I cannot explain how many like little like middle school like and high school like little coffee dates I went on to Tim Hortons because they were open like all night anyways kind of thing. Tim Hortons, your little Timbits.
Oh yeah, I saw the Tidbits ad on when I was in Canada. I seen
You
that.
going there, you get a large iced double, loving on it. So my hot take is that Tim Hortons is better than Starbucks
Mhm.
and maybe on the same level as Dunkin' Donuts.
Never been to a Dunkin'.
I've never been to a Dunkin' either. I'm not gonna lie to you. I know
Wow.
the East Coast runs on Dunkin'. I should have gone when I was in Boston.
I mean, East Coast, man.
You're talking to the wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not even like Starbucks. You know, in Seattle, it's all you find the small roast like quality like those little ones. But like Starbucks definitely is dominate over here for sure. And that like I guess I haven't been. I've gotten the Dunkin' like like the package. Dunkin'. But I've never been to a Dunkin'.
No, not the same. No, I'm curious. In the comments, comment below your top, your 1, 2, 3. Dunkin' Donuts, Tim Hortons, Starbucks, or if you've
What's
been to any
the other one? What's the one by Stillicum?
Dutch. Doesn't Dutch
Dutch
Bros?
Bros.
Oh,
Dutch Bros. Does that count? Is that the same? Yeah.
Really, really good. Not the same thing at
Okay.
all. Totally
Okay.
different.
Okay. Okay. I like Dutch Bros. I thought that was good. A little sugary.
Nah, totally.
Sure.
All right, Vanessa, you got another one?
I'm going to have like so many, I feel like, but this one's kind of funny to me because it always gets everybody when I talk about it here. Imagine, I'm gonna set the scene. You're at the bar, you happen to be a smoker, you run out of cigarettes. Where do you go get them, right? Here in the US, you gotta go to like a gas station, whatever. In Germany, they have cigarette vending machines.
I love.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And
That's
so
cool.
I don't smoke cigarettes, but in college and when I was a chef, I feel like that would be like fuck.
I know.
Yes. Like that.
It's just one of those funny things, like anytime when I talk about it here, and it's kind of like, and I know, in Pacific Northwest, a lot of people don't smoke. In Europe, it kind of is like, you don't smoke, you're kind of considered weird, but like, just the fact that they have these like vending machines, you can just go up to them, you swipe your card, you're old enough, and you can just buy some cigarettes and you're good.
Yeah, I went to Italy over the summer, or kind of in the off season there, and I gotta say, like that was like the one thing that I kept saying to my wife. I was like, man, I can't believe like how sexy smoking cigarettes is out here. Like it's just like so cool. Yeah, no, it looks so cool, and like I'm not gonna start smoking cigarettes. Like it's just not my thing. And like,
but it looks
like
cool.
I'm not about to.
But if you're in Europe, it's like you kind of like I went to Prague one time, and that was like the only time I ever. Yeah, I was like, what am I gonna do?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah.
Okay, so my last Canada to States hot take is that the Canadian accent is so much better than Boston, Rhode Island, New York, and Florida, but it is not as good as a Minnesota accent.
Wait, preference? What Canadian accent? Are you going like Toronto or like Vancouver? Because I feel like the Toronto, there's some pretty crazy Toronto that I really like. I don't know. I'm not.
I would say Vancouver to Calgary.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Vancouver to Calgary style accent. A real like, hey bud,
Sorry.
like that.
Sorry.
It's really hard, but like I said, it's not as good as a Minnesota accent. Because if you know somebody from Minnesota and they say a real Minnesota thing to you, you get real warm and fuzzy. And I cannot explain that.
No, I feel that. I think. Oh, that's a tough one. So wait, what's your hot take? You're saying that
I'm saying that a Canadian accent is better than a New York accent.
Oh, give me the
It's
Canadian accent.
awesome.
Give me the Canadian accent. Yeah.
It's better than Rhode Island. It's better than Florida.
Maybe
But it's
not New
not.
York. Maybe not New York.
Yeah, but it's not as good as Minnesota. Minnesota, and then Canada, like Canadian, and then we got like, whatever other fucking trash accent that America has.
Oh man.
I
So
feel it.
that's my. Vanessa, do you have one more for us?
Now I'm thinking about accents, and I'm thinking about just
Yeah.
like how cool,
I know.
like being able to go in Europe and you're traveling a couple hours and you're speaking a whole other language. And here in the US, you
Yeah,
travel some
that's
hours
crazy.
and you're still just speaking English. That was the only thing that was going through
Yeah.
my mind, so I kind of lost like any other hot takes. That was,
Okay.
I think that's
Nice.
about all I
Well,
got.
typical. I'm not surprised. So, anyways, you failed the skin, and we're gonna move on because you failed the show, and this is gonna be
This is the last
great
time
show
you're
ever.
letting me be here, right?
You're ruining the podcast. Our 70 views are gonna go down
like
because
65.
of you. You ruined this. Yeah, well, it might be. Yeah, you still ruined it.
Oh.
So, anyways, moving on. We're gonna do a trivia game.
Boo.
Nice. And because Vanessa's here, and we're gonna try to salvage this and have her not ruin it,
Oh.
we're gonna do women's
I
trivia.
hate
We're gonna do
trivia.
about local Washington FPO players.
Whoop,
All of these questions are based off of current players from the 2024 ratings, pulled from the PDGA player statistics page.
Ooh.
Now, that is not an encouragement for you two to go on and look at that page, but that's where all the stats are pulled from.
So you say I can't look at
So,
this?
Well, Ollie's
It's not
out there
actually on
doing
there.
trivia.
I'm thinking about the H draft.
Okay. That's coming next. Oh, spoiler, we're doing the 8th draft next. Vanessa's part of it. So anyways, all right, so I have 5 questions that have 7 potential answers, and I want to do this as kind of a best out of 7. So if somebody gets 4 answers right away, awesome, you win. And basically at the end of it, whoever has the most answers or first to 4 will win.
Okay.
So
Wait, when you say 4,
my first question, and I'm going to start with Vanessa and kind of ping pong back and forth and give you both opportunities to
and I
answer.
just need to give you one answer.
My first question is, who are the top 3 rated FPO players in the state of Washington? Vanessa, can you name any one of the top 3 highest rated FPO players in the state of Washington?
I'm gonna say Allison Mabbitt.
Close. She was number 4 on the list.
Oh.
Yeah. Ollie, your pick?
Oh, that's right.
I feel like this is Corey Gerber-Dolan on there.
She's number 5.
Okay.
Think
Oh,
Tour.
wait.
Think like Pro Tour.
Sayananda.
Sayananda, that's one of them. She's
Okay.
number.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Ollie,
Ella Hansen.
Mm-hmm.
Ella Hansen, she's number 1.
Yeah.
All right, so there's one more player who's from Washington State, or their PDG profile at least says that they're from Washington State. Do either of you know who it is, or should I just give the answer?
I
Oh wait,
have an
isn't it?
idea.
Oh my God, what's her name? Hannah? No.
Come on,
Quinn.
Come on. Yeah,
Mhm.
there you
Right?
go.
you nailed it. Yep. So Hannah Wynn. Yeah, so the top 5 players, FPO players, according to the player statistic page: Ella Hansen, Sayananda, Hannah Wynn, Allison Mabbutt, Corey Gerber-Dolan.
Nice.
Easier for me to say. Awesome. All right, so Vanessa has 2 points and Ollie has 1 going into the next round.
Also, ratings day today, Vanessa shot up. She's going to be up there pretty soon, too. Just saying.
Okay.
Yeah, my rating's
So
slowly
this
creeping.
is not based off of the current ratings update. This is based off of
Before.
ratings as of like this morning, basically. So, which goes into my next question. According to, and this is for Ollie to answer, actually. So, according to the PDGA player rating, what rank right now is Vanessa in Washington State?
6?
Vanessa is currently 13th.
Okay.
I actually
So
didn't even
there's,
know that.
I'm sure there's, that like 885 to 884 range gets, no?
My
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a bunch of players kind of like in that range. There's a bunch of like really good
Mhm.
FPO players. One thing that I found that was really funny is Elena Ivinsky, who's on the box squad and is awesome and is like, she came to the shop the other day, dude. She's so pregnant. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my god, like hot girl.
She
And
so pregnant.
she, oh dude, she looks amazing. Apparently, she's doing incredible, which is great for
Yeah.
her. Her and Ryan are both like
They're
super
so
excited. So
excited.
good for them.
I know.
Congratulations to them
Congratulations.
for that. Yeah. But she's like 20th in
Mhm.
Washington State, and I was like,
Yeah.
dude, you're playing like you. She has the power of a woman and a baby. I was like, my goodness, like what are you doing? So, okay,
Funny.
getting back to the quiz. So this is a question for Vanessa now. Who has, for FPO in Washington State, who has the most events played so far in 2024?
Again, Washington
I will
State.
give.
Yeah. I'm assuming we're looking at another one of these elites. Would be my assumption.
Well, I don't want to give away too many hints, without anything. But
I'm just gonna say Ella Hansen. I'm gonna start there.
You nailed it. Yeah. Ollie, for a bonus point, can you guess how many events she's played so far in 2024?
She's done 13 events.
16.
Okay, I
You're
was
so-
close. I was close.
that was a
That's
really
close.
close one. I'm going to give Ollie the next question as well, because the next question is probably the hardest question.
Good.
on
Good.
here.
Give it
And
to
I would be
Ollie.
really- Ollie nailed it. So, Ollie,
Yeah.
in Washington State, who has, for FPO in 2024, who has the lowest PDGA number?
FBO?
Yeah. She has the lowest number in FPO in Washington State. The lowest PDGA number.
Oh,
Oldest number.
yeah. I'm gonna go. I don't think I know too many people with that low of a number. I'm trying to think.
I would be so wildly impressed if you got this right.
No, I can't even think of anyone under like the 100,000.
So her name is Sarah Fletcher. She is based out of Skamakawa, Washington, and her PDGA number is 26529. So she's been playing since like 2005, 2004,
Wow.
something like
That's
that.
super cool.
And honestly, that wasn't really a question I was expecting anybody to get. I kind of just wanted to give her a shout
Yeah.
out
Yeah.
because that's that like she's been playing for
That's
so
cool.
long and she's still active in 2024.
What division does she play
So-
in? Do you know?
She played FPO.
She
this
played
year.
FPO. Oh, cool.
Yeah, she's only played one tournament. I looked into her profile earlier today, but she's played
That's
one
cool.
tournament. Played
That's
FPO.
awesome.
So good
Love
for
it.
her. Yeah. All right, Vanessa, I think you are at 3 points. Ollie, you're at 1 point.
Oh,
So Vanessa did get the win because mathematically, one question
Right,
left,
Ollie.
she can't win. Nice job, Vanessa. So the last question is going to be for whoever has the answer, shout it out right away. Last question was who has the lowest PDGA number. This next question is who has the highest PDGA number in FPO in Washington State right now.
Is it me?
in FBO.
It is
I was
you.
gonna say, I feel like that's me.
Dang.
It's you. Yeah, you're 251,996. Yeah,
Dang.
My PDJ is so high.
yeah, it's really high.
You know,
yeah,
I
yeah.
always have that. So many of the FPOs are always like, "You baby," like they'll say that to me. It's like so new.
Yeah.
They're always like
That's so funny.
251.
I'm so
Wow,
glad you
that's so cool.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you're
Represent.
the highest. You have the highest PDGA number in FPO in Washington State, and you're also the 13th highest rated player in that process.
Yeah.
And you're on the rise. Everybody kind of knows that already. So
Yeah.
um,
I'm hoping.
Yeah,
my hope
so
is to get over 900 or close to 900.
yeah, well, enough jerking you off. So
Just
going into the
official.
next segment, we are going to do the H draft, as Vanessa already spoiled. Thanks, Vanessa.
I'm
Oh, I
so
did.
sorry.
I spoiled it.
Well, thanks, Vanessa.
Yeah, it's still my
Your turn.
fault, Ollie. You don't understand.
All right, so getting into the H draft, I smoked Ollie last week. Ollie's wanting to eat thumbtacks was just the we're gonna label it as an all time worst draft in KO disc golf history.
Boo.
So for this week, I think because I won last week's draft by so much, I'm going to pick to have the number 1 overall pick. I'm going to pick for Vanessa to have the number 2 overall pick.
That's right.
And then I'm going to pick for Ollie to have the number 3 overall pick.
But then I get the 3 and 4.
So, Ollie will have 3 and 4. Vanessa will have 2 and 5. I will have 1 and 6. And then I'll also have 7. And we'll kind of just go in like snake draft style order until everybody has 4 picks.
All right, let's do it.
So, my number 1 overall pick for the H draft is hamburgers.
That was actually on my list.
It's the best one overall. Brian and I were talking about it today, and I was like, he said hamburgers, and I was like, well, that's the obvious 1-1 overall, without a doubt in my mind.
Okay.
So, hamburgers. Yep. Vanessa, what do you got for a number 2 overall pick?
You know, I can't decide. I'm gonna go with Heiser.
Heiser. Oh, that's.
It's on my list. Why didn't I think
Oh
of
my God, I'm gonna get cooked this draft.
that?
I figured I'd take the obvious while they're there, you know.
I'm gonna. Oh my God, this feels ominous. Like I'm gonna get.
I just
outplayed so hard.
hamburglared you.
No, no, you're not allowed to be funnier than us on our own show. That
Okay.
sucks.
More reasons to not invite me back.
Great, yeah. Great. Ollie, what do you got for number 3?
We're gonna go. Oh, this is looking rough. We're gonna go with. I think this was a pretty easy hot dog. Hot dog with the 3rd pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go to
Do
the
you mean
ball
like?
big. You know,
Do you mean like the food, or like that guy's being a hot dog?
I mean like the food. It falls into the category, so I get. And then we're gonna go with the flavor for my 4th pick, and we're gonna go with Hawaiian Punch. You know,
Oh,
seed and
bro,
candy, seed and drinks. I think it's a solid, solid 4th
Yeah.
pick, and then we'll get our other ones later.
you kind of nailed it with Hawaiian Punch, man. That's a really good
That's
one.
a good one.
We're coming back this draft, you know.
All right. Yeah, no blunders like last time. Jesus, buddy. You embarrassed both of us on that one. All right,
Oh.
Vanessa, what do you got for number 5?
I can't help it. I love this like English word, so I'm gonna say Hooters.
Yeah.
It's a great word.
Dope. I am also a fan. Nice.
I mean the
They
restaurant,
have
of
good
course.
They have good wings.
Exactly.
Yeah, don't be
No,
perfect.
totally.
Be perverts. Awesome. Yeah, good pick. Hooters.
I've never been to
all right.
Hooters.
Yeah, me neither.
Don't plan on going.
You've never been to Hooters? Bro, you gotta go one night and get bottomless wings. Like, it's kind of awesome. Like, it's not the worst. The food actually is like...
Surprisingly, I've heard that from people that their food is actually pretty good, which I'm like, are you sure? Is
I'm
that
gonna
just
have
you
to go
being
try it.
biased?
It's standard bar fare.
Oh.
But,
I like
you
bar
have
food. I like bar food.
Bar food's
have
good.
like good atmosphere with like lots of TVs and like loud music around. Like it kind of works okay. We went like it was like sophomore year of college. I had a couple of buddies who would go like once a week, which was kind of weird. And we went like once or twice with them, and we were like, oh, this is okay. And they were very into it, which made it a little uncomfortable, to be totally honest. So my number 6 pick is going to be hats. I wear a ton of hats. I wear hats pretty much everywhere I go. That's a really basic answer for me. And then my number 7 pick is going to be homers.
Oh, I was thinking about that.
Like from baseball, like home runs.
I like that.
So, yeah. Like we out here hitting dingers, man. Home runs. That's my guy. So, So far I have hamburgers, hats, and homers. Vanessa, what you got for the number 8 overall pick and your 3rd pick?
Piggybacking off of hats and again representing Germans, I'm going to talk about hat tricks, both in soccer and in hockey.
In that, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So scoring three goals in a round
game.
or in a game.
It's the
Yeah,
hat trick.
love it. Cool.
Well, I think this will add on to the sports little. It was already on my list, and I kind of wanted to hit it. But Hail Mary, you know,
Okay.
end of the game, you know, it's Hail Mary time.
I
Yeah.
always put that on my list.
You know, honestly, Hail Mary is just like a good like word to have in your everyday verbiage.
Hail Mary.
You're like, yeah, man, I'm just kind of pulling a Hail Mary on this one, hoping for the best.
That's
It's
also
like,
what I'm saying, you know, it's just like a little Hail Mary.
Mhm.
You know, I also had daggers in the D draft, so Hail Mary, daggers. You know, I'm about the big moments, you know, the game winners.
you are. That's right. I love it.
And then my last pick, I am gonna have to go with hoodies. Big hoodie
Okay.
guy, hoodie wear. I like make hoodies for fun, so I have a few hoodies that some people will have and I make, and Always love hoodies, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one. All right, Vanessa, what you got for number 11? Your final
I
pick.
don't know which one I want to choose of these. I'm gonna have to go with the love for culinary stuff and say herbs.
Mm.
And I was thinking about it.
Or the other herbs.
Ollie.
Either way,
Culinary, just like I was talking about restaurants earlier.
yeah. Ollie.
We're just
That's a
connoisseurs
good
of everything.
That's a good one. All right, so for my final pick and for the final pick of this draft, I'm going to pick. I'm gonna pick Heelys. You guys know Heelys? with the wheel.
You ever tried a Healy?
I'm not a Heely guy, but look, Heelys. There's few things cooler than someone like rolling in and just landing like, "What's up, y'all? How's it going?" Like that's pretty badass, dude. So Heelys are the number 12 pick.
I like that.
I have a couple of fun honorable mentions. I'm going to say honorable mention to Hank Hill, honorable mention to Hulk Hogan,
Oh, wow.
honorable mention to Holes, Hotel, Hummus, Happy, Health, and Hero, and Hits.
Nice.
So, do you guys have any honorable mentions you wanna shout out?
My honorable mentions are going to be Hercules, Harry Potter,
Also, lame.
and then I
Harry
also
Potter, that's such a good one. Oh my god.
I also couldn't help but like kind of separate these two. So one of them is the same Hellhound as well as Hound or Hell. Or like whoever
Hellhound.
came up.
Okay, yeah.
Hot Rod. I got Houston. I got Huckleberry as some of my honorable
Huckleberry.
mentions.
I'll be your Huckleberry.
Aw, that was so cute.
I'll be your Huckleberry.
I'll be your Huckleberry. Aw, should I leave you too? Is that my out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This late night on the KO Disc Golf Show.
Yeah, but awesome episode. Thank you so much, Vanessa, for coming on and talking about those
Yeah,
things.
guys.
Super fun discussing those, doing the trivia game, the draft, everything with that. Really enjoyed that. Looking forward to having you on some more and having your just what you have to say with that.
Thanks, guys. It was fun. It was fun kicking your butt, Ollie, in trivia. I did not expect that because normally trivia is like the most anxiety-inducing like part to me. I hate trivia.
Then you haven't been watching, I guess, because I'm not. I think I'm at 2 points total for trivia the 2 times I've gone.
Don't steal this moment for me, Ollie. This is important.
Gonna be ending with the little quote. Humpty took a tumble because he didn't keep his eye on the prize. Stay on the ball, stay on the wall.
Nice.
That's going to be the quote to end this day off. High, shoot low, and we'll see you next week for episode 15. Peace.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.